Hi, welcome to Reality Bites and everyone at AHC. I'm Stephen Arrizza from Basin Haircutters and Basin Education in Adelaide, and I just wanted to share with you today something that I think is one of the most important things that we need to be doing as salon owners and something that can really make a huge difference in our business. And that is having dedicated time to spend on our business, or TOB, we refer to it as time on business. I think for many years we heard this at many different business courses and seminars, and people talking about you just need to step away from the chair, you need to spend more time on your business. But that's really hard as a business owner because we know that that's the way we make our money. But after hearing it several times, I thought, there must be something in this. So we decided, we needed to really start to dedicate some time on our business. And I think probably what really made us do that and dedicate special time was early on in our business, we'd set ourselves a goal. We wanted to turn over $1 million. And the year that we did that, we were so excited to reach our goal until at the end of the financial year, we're doing the figures with the accountant and we were sort of looking going, well, where's our money? We actually made less money that year than what we had previously. So I realized it's not just about turnover, it's more about profit. So once we decided to sit down and really start spending some quality time on our business, not, Sunday night I must get to that. Yes, on Sunday afternoon I'll organise a bit of a promotion. It becomes something you don't look forward to. So we decided that we would spend a few hours at the beginning of our work week, no clients, go to our favourite coffee shop, something we really enjoyed, and we'd sit down and we'd plan out our week, our month, and our year. And it's now grown to us spending a full day working on our business and also a couple of hours on a Friday morning as well, just ticking off all the lists and everything that we've created. So I just want to go through and maybe give you something a bit more visual as what that would look like. I've got trusty little IKEA tape measure here. 100 centimetres long represents 100% of our takings, our revenue. So this tape measure represents our revenue. And I want to give you some figures that we've seen and almost been at as well. And I know many salons sit at these figures or even higher. On average, salons across Australia will have a wage bill that is as high as 50 to 56%. So what does that look like? If this was our takings for the year, by the time we take out our wages, let's go up to 52, let's call it 52%. Need somewhere in the middle. That's gone straight away. We see all this money we're making, but that's gone in wages, and that's normally for our staff. The other thing that's a big expense in our business is our products, our colours, our shampoos, and that normally sits at around the 15% mark. So let's just have a look at what that looks like. I've counted up here, made a little mark. That's where it sits. That's another 15 centimetres of the tape gone. We still haven't made our money yet, and we've still got more things to account for. The other thing is sundries. That's our bills, our phone, our power, all the other little things that we have to buy to run our businesses. That also sits at about 15%. That takes us up, let's have a look, up 10, 12, 15. It's getting smaller, isn't it? So that's gone. The other thing that we have to remember is we're paying rent, and that varies across Australia and whether you're in a shopping centre perhaps, but on average sits around 10%. So we're going to count up another 10. And all of a sudden, we can see that if we're lucky and if we're getting it right, we're not left with very much. So when we looked at that, we decided that's it. We need to look at some ways. If we could talk about increasing our revenue, getting a few extra clients, as salon owners, I think we get very excited about that sort of stuff. But really, we could spend a couple of hours, a few hours every week and look at how we could reduce costs, make our staff more productive at so many things. So, even imagine if we started to go, this was our wage bill, and we could just save a couple of percent, come up with something in a way that we could save a few percent or make our team more productive. All of a sudden that starts to look like about a little bit more. We look at our sundries, if we could save a little bit of money there by, really having a careful plan around how we're doing things, we might be lucky to save let's even save 2%, which would look a little bit like so. And of course, our stock usage, and we know there's a lot of wastage that goes on in our salon. But what could you actually do if you had time on your business to come up with something that you could really put a plan into place to reduce your wastage? You might save 0.5%, 1%, 2%. We actually saved about 4%. So that's going to look a little bit like so. And rent, well, there might not be much to play with there, but hey, it wouldn't hurt to make a phone call to the landlord, see that you're on the best deal you possibly can. But when we look at something like this and compare it, like just by spending some time on our business, perhaps we could almost, half or almost double our profits. There's certainly some money to be made there. The number of salons and us salon owners that look at ourselves as, I'm a hairdresser, I don't really know about business. Well, you're a business owner. You need to dedicate some time. Treat that time on your business, those couple of hours every week, few hours every week, treat that like your favorite top client. There's no way that you'd put that client off or I'll get to her later. You wouldn't. They become very important in your business because that's what brings in the money. Let's start to treat time on business the same way and give ourselves some time to really plan and see what we can really get out of our business. I'm sure you'll really benefit from it, and you can see it would really be worthwhile. Thanks for your time.